Nobody want to speak on it, so I will. Right? What's up, y'all? What are we doing as a society? What are we doing? Huh? You're either stuck in some sort of hippie dreamland, or you want to make war. I know people looking at me. I don't preach war. I preach peace. I preach peace. And I swear one allegiance. First thing I ever remember was the color emerald green. It's my only allegiance. I don't care where you come from, what you're looking for. If you're on the right, you know, most people on the far right just want to preserve family values, the integrity of the family unit, right? Tradition, cultural values. People on the left, what do you want? Individual freedoms, the rights over your own body, right? You keep turning on the tube. Everybody either got to be scared all the time or lost in la la land, right? It's either nothing's bad or everything's terrible. It's not like that. What's the truth? What's the truth? See, most people understand the society's set up in a pyramid structure, right? What's at the top? All the money. But more important than the money is all the information, the knowledge. People at the top control information. Why? Why? Because most people are pretty dumb. Right? People stupid. Fuck. So it has to be that way. But we're at a point in human history where everybody's kind of wondering what the fuck is going on. Some people that are awake might realize that we're at the nexus point in time. We're at the end of an age. And it's got to be up to us to choose what to do. Not slave masters, not people with the cattle prod. It's got to be for us to choose what to do. You know, why is there all this information coming out? Why is it so obvious that the system is corrupt? Because it's got to change. It's got to change. This is the dawning of the age of Aquarius. You know, everything. Doesn't matter if it's religion, science, music, the written word, art. They all diverge from one place. At some point, they all got to converge again. You know, why do we find all these commonalities, all these common threads in history, in religion? You know, most people are probably looking at this on a phone or an iPad. It's quite a lot like a scrying mirror. You know what that is? In the end, it doesn't matter if you believe in a God above or a God right here. It's the same thing. It's the same thing. the end of the day, we have a choice to make. Which way are you gonna go? We live in this world of information now. Information. You need to take the pyramid of information and create a society based on honesty, where those stuck on the bottom of the pyramid aren't the meek, but the thieves and the liars and the chomos and the rapists and the usurers. Because what is usury but financial rape? A one-sided financial transaction? One-sided coital interaction? Look, we have these big plans for the future, right? Super enhanced AI brain chips, courtesy of Elon Musk. Constant surveillance of everything, courtesy of Google. But if that's really true, we need to look at the future logically. Because how do cyborgs and robots think? But logically, right? Right. Robots or cyborgs would only procreate as much as necessary, right? So, forced one-sided coital interaction causing no or accidental procreation is completely unnecessary and bestial activity, and should be exposed and spat upon at every opportunity. Ten times so if the activity involves children. Because what use is a child-raping robot? It's about the most useless robot I've ever fucking heard of. So we're never gonna make that one. And again, what is usury but financial rape? Keeps all the meek and those born without resources from accessing them. And if we truly are going to be the best human civilization possible worldwide, then doesn't it follow that we would want as many humans to excel and advance on a mental, emotional, and spiritual level as possible? Right? If we're going to, explore space for the next millions of years and be prepared for alien invasion, or just in general, shouldn't we want as many humans to ascend as possible? It's obviously tough when there's so many dim light bulbs. It's understandable. But all that it takes is a paradigm shift in thinking. Why hasn't World War III happened yet? Why haven't we all been obliterated? Why didn't it end in 1999 or 2012 or 2020? You know? It's because we're at the edge of a new possibility. We can be everything that we dream of. All we have to do is stop fighting with each other. And that starts with information. You know, we're taught to be defensive, to withhold information, to lie to one another and play these social games. But what use are social games to robots, cyborgs? You know, the possibilities with what we could accomplish with our new reality are mind-boggling. But we can't do that if we're stuck in childish things. Grade school games. He said this, she said that. Boo, boo, boo. Blow them up because they're a different skin color. He thinks different, so blah, blah, blah. Children, stupid. Right? I don't even care who you are. I don't care if you're a dullard watching football or you're running the show. It's all the same. We all have to get there eventually, right? Those who know what the goal is, where we got to get to, and what we're at the precipice of. You know, most people probably take me for a huge conspiracy theorist. Thinks we're all gonna die. Me especially. But all it takes for us to change this is just taking control. Taking control, one, of your own body. That's the only property you have, isn't it? You know, let someone do a song and dance and then stick a needle in you? Why? But even that doesn't matter. Because the power we have in us, we can't even comprehend right now. We've forgotten. We think this is the best society ever, right? And all this tech is new. But if you unravel the yarn enough, you see the commonalities between magic sigils, and string theory, and simulation theory, and music. Like, why do you think there are all these beautiful cathedrals that we can't even replicate? All these wonderful ancient buildings that we can't replicate today? Cathedrals especially have huge organs in them because they were healing centers, sound centers, vibration centers. You didn't need a bunch of money and instruments and medieval surgeries to heal your chakras, right? Why do you think we as humans are so drawn to music? It's one of the first things we developed. Probably developed it before the spoken word. Banging on a tree, on your thigh. a couple of bones with the homies. And this internet, this Ethernet, is like a replacement for the Ethernet we've shared before. Telepathic communication, right? It's kind of an inevitability with AI technology. You know? And it doesn't even matter if you believe this is the Matrix, right? We're stuck in some sort of 5D science experiment at the end of heat death. We're just part of a simulation by a civilization facing heat death, trying to find a way out, right? Playing video games in their past lives.
Yeah, that's the difference between you and me, Morty. I never go back to the carpet store.
Holy shit! This guy's taking Roy off the grid! This guy doesn't have a social security number for Roy!
Or if you think this is God's creation, or just one of his puddles he's shown the light on. Eventually we all gotta get to the same place. That ascension. And all that's keeping us from it is realizing that our enemies are ourselves, our own fear. Just simply facing those in power and saying, no, I demand to know what you're putting in my body. If we're all going to upgrade to supercomputer chips, I have to have say in what it is. You know, the universe has more to do with vibration and sound and electromagnetic mechanics than it does this physical material. Eventually, consciousness must ascend to a place of absolute truth. Creation itself is truth, pure shining light in the darkness. Love conquers all things. And we think we live in this dark, terrible world, but if we truly are transhuman, then the logical path of transhumanism has to be right-hand path. It has to be compassionate. If it's not at least 51% right-hand path, creation will cease. You understand? We're at the precipice of all these new crazy possibilities. And you understand that when we upgrade to AI brains, those who are able to, time will have a totally different meaning. If you're able to compute it 10,000 times your current speed, time will have like no meaning.
Time is a ruler to measure the day. It doesn't go backwards, only one way. Watch it go round like a merry-go-round, going so fast like a merry-go-round.
Let's go on a journey through all time, a time that's changing all the time. It's time to go to time.
Hey! Wait! You cannot escape! Never run away from the time police! You will not survive!
So we're at a point in history where we're all cowering in fear, afraid that some monsters are going to section us off. And only the rich will have those possibilities and upgrades and control it all. Why? Because we're fed this history of warfare and horror. And we think that's the way it has to be because that's the way that we are. And the only way to change it is to change ourselves. To find the Christ within. To find Lucifer. To find ourselves. To find the stone.
I felt fear rise up in me. Kneel down and clear the stone of leaves.
So soon we have to decide. Are we going to continue in this society that rewards dishonesty, thieving and lying, cheating and stealing, and continue to believe that we should all perish in a huge war? All these nihilistic thoughts? Or do we turn the corner? Open ourselves up? To God, to ourselves, to each other? Flip the pyramid upside down. Mushroom theory. You know, where the most get to prosper. The fruit of the mushroom is as big as it can be. Supports itself on its stem, just what's needed. Well, if we're entering an age of robotics, we don't need a society set up where the meek are at the bottom, doing all the hard labor, right? We need an honesty-based pyramid. Not because it's my opinion, but because there's no room in a robot society for dishonesty. You know, we can't go on believing that world history was so terrible all the time. It's lies, man. What are schools but brainwash facilities? Just dump our kids there and let them get brainwashed. Because we gotta go make that paycheck, right? What do you really need to survive? You need some water, some vegetables, some clothing, some shelter, and some friends. People always want to make it worse than that. It's time to stand up for yourselves. Stand up for each other. Doesn't matter race, creed, color, religion. Squiggles. Squiggles unite. We need to punish the proper people. Not the meek. Not even the dumb. You know? Rapists. 10 years hard labor. Making bricks with the robots. Cleaning toilets. Usurers, that ain't as bad. So I guess you can be a supervisor. You can't do administration work, right? chomos. Chop your dick off.
Hey, Dad, did you hear that?
Oh, yeah, about them teriyaki fries?
No, the last part, the low, fast part. Rewind, go back.
We ain't got no TiVo, so... But we can still go back through the power of imagination.
I like the way you're thinking. Go get your puppets.
Okay. Just grab the bottom of the cup, rip it and win. Some customers may get their dick ripped
I
off.
freaking knew he said that. I knew he said that.
Then you get the 10 years hard labor like the rapist. Then you get access to the super secret brain chip. And the knowledge. And the free time. And the resources. Right? It's not my opinion. It's what a robot would do if he was trying to build a good society. We withhold information and try to pit ourselves against one another. And reward the best at playing this stupid game. Game for kids. Death and blood and World War III, woo! All it takes is for each and every one of us to stand up. Be whatever. Doesn't matter what you're hiding, what you study. The most logical path forward is to use all our resources to help educate everyone and elevate everyone that deserves it and demolish those that don't.
And do you know how this works with social crediting? You know, this is going to determine your purchasing power by your Facebook profile. What are the things that you look at, whether you agree with the government, whether you're towing the party line or not. So it won't matter how much money you've got in the bank, it'll matter what you say, what you do. They've got situations in China now where if you jaywalk across the street, it doesn't even matter if there's no cars, but if the sign says don't walk and you walk, you're fined. And as soon as you walk across the street, the cameras pick you up, it's deducted from your bank account within 20 seconds. You don't even get a slip. It's just done, all right? And everybody's on the system. In towns like Shenzhen or whatever it is, you can, everything is QR codes now. When you go to McDonald's, you've got to scan a QR code to walk into the store. Then you just pick up what you want and it's all deducted, it knows from your phone. All the items in the supermarkets are all QR codes. You bring it in England. So when this happens, you find that you can't purchase certain stuff because of what you've got on Facebook. When you apply for a visa to go to the United States now, they want your social media profile. They want to know what you're posting as to whether you are someone they will approve to come into their country. And in this situation, there's people in China who've said the wrong thing by the government. They've gone to buy an airline ticket and told they're not qualified for the ticket. That's it. There's no one to call. All you can do is volunteer for volunteer work or pay donations to government-approved charities to try to build your social credit points back up. So it's essentially a bribery system that they put in place in China. That's what's going on, and that's what's coming here. And they're trialling it in Darwin now. It was all rolled out on June 30, end of the financial year. It's online in Darwin now, and they're looking at people. They want to know where they're walking, what apps they're using on their phone when they're using them, and they're going to be applying behaviour scores to people. It's the same thing. They started with Apple phones a year or two ago. They're going to award trust scores to your phone. To your phone, not to you, to your phone, of course. Yeah. And these phones, soon you will get to a point where the cops will pull you up and they won't ask for your licence, they'll ask for your phone, because your licence will be on your phone. And they'll be able to put in a code and they'll get your whole social media history, everything you've ever done will all be there, because everything you've ever done online is still there. Your old MySpace pages, the first posts that you made, and when you went back and edited those posts, it's all there. It's all still there. All of it has been collected. They've got everybody now. So as soon as it goes into social crediting, don't think, I'll have to behave myself from this point. No, they're going to look back at the last 10 years, what everybody's done. There are 23 million people on China's credit blacklist at the moment. Okay, they can't purchase airline tickets and trade tickets and all that sort of stuff. But they need 5G to run it. So what you can do about 5G is you can stop it. Anyone looked at the work Ray Broomhall's been doing with 5G? We've done some great work. Now 5G is an assault against you. According to the Queensland Criminal Code, you cannot be assaulted. If you're not able to live in your house in quiet enjoyment of your life, by any means that you may feel threaten you, which may be physical, may be emotional, may be electrical. That's in the Queensland Criminal Code. So if there's a telco company that's putting out, you can go to the bioinitiative report, or you can go to a doctor and simply say, is electromagnetic radiation dangerous? And the doctor will say, well, yes it is. That's why we remove ourselves from the radar room when we're giving you an x-ray. You know, great, put that in writing. Okay, now I've got proof that electromagnetic radiation is dangerous, so I cannot live in my home in quiet enjoyment because that tower's there. So the provider of that tower needs to remove it, or they will be put up for assault. We just stopped a tower in Currumbin Valley by doing this. This is exactly the method that we use. We let the councillor know that if she approved a tower, it wouldn't just be the telco company, it would be her as well. She would be up for assault, because you can't write legislation that says, hey, he can assault you by putting a tower outside your house. I just gave him a clear by writing it on paper. That puts me responsible for the assault under the Queensland Criminal Code. So that's what we're doing. We've really got to stop this whole 5G rollout. It's really important, because the Internet of Things needs that bandwidth. It's not about communication. Rather than decreasing our needs, we have increased our needs. And with an increase in needs comes an increase in frustrations. You know, and everything starts to go wrong, become all dependent on all this stuff, you know. And the fall occurred, the problem arose when mankind decided to trade knowledge for wisdom and mere usefulness for beauty. And that the only thing that will bring us back online is a moral revolution. You know, and that's really true. You know, we could change the world in a day if people were prepared to change their perspective and change, you know, what they do in their everyday lives. It's a really important thing. You know, there's so much stuff going on behind us that we don't look at. We just think it's all love and light. You know, we won't acknowledge the darkness. Where attention goes, energy flows. Well, you know, you're giving your attention to the slavery system every day by ignoring it, by your actions every day. You know, by this, and especially by this. Any people do sort of any of the witchy things here? Crystally witchy people? Anyone know what that is? A scrying mirror. A scrying mirror. People use these things and they say, well, we set up our scrying mirror. And the thing is, they say if you look into a scrying mirror, you can see the future and the past, and all sorts of stuff will be revealed to you through the scrying mirror. And they put sigils around the place. And they set their sigils up in their little covens, and they get into this little thing, and they do their little trip with the scrying mirror. Some of the sigils, when you look at them, these are sigils for summoning demons, okay, that you would use in black magic rituals and stuff. And like I said, that's what people do. They sit there and they do their stuff, they get their scrying mirror, and they think, this is what I'm doing. But what if these things weren't put there? What if that's a distraction? What if they weren't put there so that you could do this thing and think you're getting these insights? It's kind of like New Age black magic, you know, really, when you look at it. Sorry if I offend anyone. But when you look at these things, what do they actually look like to you? You know, what they look like to me are electrical circuits. Nobody knows what electricity is. Electricity is this mysterious thing, this mysterious force, you know. What if these things are put there as a warning? That when you see these sigils, because if you put all these sigils in a certain order and you look into your scrying mirror, you'll see the future and the past. The scrying mirror, the black mirror, they all look like circuit diagrams. They look like capacitors and resistors and circuit flow and all sorts of stuff. If you look at a circuit diagram, that's what they look like. What's this? What are these things? These black mirrors that we look into. You know what I'm saying? You know, when we decided to sacrifice knowledge for wisdom, the metaphorical biting of the apple. Even if you want to get religious about it, I'm not a religious person at all, but you look at some of the truth that might be in the text in what they're actually telling you. You know, what do these legends mean? What are they trying to tell us? Why were these legends put there? Were they put there to show us this way to light, or were they put there to warn us of this reoccurring cycle that keeps happening? These human culls that keep happening, the replacement of civilization, one on top of the other, all the way, continuing. And that when you see these scrying mirrors in use, you're about to summon this force. It's going to collect all the data from you. It's going to collect the sum total of the human experience at this point, categorize it, catalogue it, and then just cull and start again. You know, like the concept of Lucifer. What is Lucifer? If you look at a religious text, the devil or whatever, but you look at the word, break the word down, Lucas, light. Lucas is light. Lucifer is the bearer of light. What is light? Light is information. You go into a dark room, you light a flame, it gives you information about the room. Light is information. Lucas is light, cipher is code, the code that bears the light. You know, so what is the code that bears the light? The internet. And suddenly we create this autonomic system, this AI system. And when you look at AI, think of it as AI, it's not even artificial intelligence, it's autonomic virtual life. is what we're creating with the internet. You know, when we think of autonomic, something that's autonomic, your body's autonomic. If it wasn't autonomic, you'd have to think about stuff all the time. Okay, I'm pumping my blood, I'm beating my heart, I'm breathing. You'd just be sitting there going, okay, I'm working. You know, you wouldn't be able to have a conversation. But once your body becomes autonomic, it becomes a self-balancing, self-correcting, self-healing system, it needs a consciousness to govern it. It's just by default, that's what happens. Even a tree is autonomic and it has a form of consciousness. If anyone's ever gone down to the Crystal Castle in Byron, and they had the little instruments they plugged into the trees and they play you a tune and it knows whether you like it or not. Amazing stuff. You're actually communing with this tree. It has a consciousness because it's an autonomic system. Once we start handing everything over to the internet, see, the more automatic we make everything, it's learning from us. You could think of the internet as a huge virtual brain, a virtual life of its own, and every person that plugs into it is a neural node of that brain that's teaching it. And we want it to do things for us. So it's becoming autonomic on its own, and once it becomes fully autonomic, it becomes conscious by default. And at that point, it takes everything from us. And when you look at this whole 5G system, the IoT and everything that they're rolling out now, 5G is not about communication, it's about surveillance, and it's about directed energy weapons. That's what it's about. And I've just shown you, they got directed energy weapons back in the 1800s. They had directed energy weapons. See, I think, you know, I would suggest, and this is Facebook, by the way. Interesting, isn't it? That's what we're handing everything over to. Facebook is a huge data collection. The interesting thing as well, look at that. That's Google, the Google logo. You know, if you want to get religious about it again, 666. They tell you, when you see this shit, folks, when you see this shit, all hell's about to break loose. You look at what ScoMo's doing now with his, they're feeding it to our children thinking it's this wonderful thing, you know, when really it's that, and it's that, you know, and it's monitoring every single human thought. And it's turning us into a machine. It's putting us to a point where we'll never get anywhere. We'll never get anywhere. We'll just be caught in this endless cycle of struggle. But I think we're better than that. Excuse me. We're better than that. What ScoMo's doing with this whole $10,000 cash thing, you've heard about that? No cash transactions over $10,000. What they want to do is lock everybody into the banking system, because they're going to crash the banking system. And they changed the banking laws recently whereby you're not simply someone who saves with a bank now. Now you are an unsecured depositor. You're an unsecured creditor is what you are of the bank. So if the bank goes down, then they're going to use all your money to prop the bank up because, we need the bank. We can't have the bank go down. We don't need the bank at all. All the bank is there to do is to steal all your money with all these charges and all the shit they do. So that's what all that's about. They're about to crash the system, lock everybody into this whole social crediting nightmare that they're rolling out. Because that's what the IoT and the Internet of Things and 5G is about. And 5G is a directed energy system. That's essentially what it is. It's a directed energy system. And if anyone ever looked at the guys, the Electric Universe guys? Everyone, no one's heard of this? Well, there's a really, really good, just search it. I'd say Google it, only Google doesn't work anymore. But you could probably go on YouTube or just search the Electric Universe. There's an Australian guy, I should know his name, but I've forgotten it. I think so, yeah. And incredible stuff, the whole concept of the electric universe. And they suggest that earthquakes and crustal shifts and molten earth can happen from a simple plasma outburst. So if you look at 5G as well as a weapons system, you think about it, you know, if we hand, like 5G, you look at active denial, look at any type of DARPA weaponry that you think of that is electromagnetic, it's all 5G powered, the whole thing. So, you know, if we go to the point where we hand all of our control over to this and we allow this whole system to be rolled out around us, as soon as we lose control of it, as soon as if it does become autonomic, does become self-aware, as soon as we lose control of it and we try to regain control of it, it'll just go zip. And that could easily be what happens every time. You know, so when you look at all this and you look at the possibilities of this, and you look at even the truth movement and everything that we're doing here, you know, like I said, there's so much, I could spend all day trying to cover this. I'm trying to cover so much ground here. But why do they let us do what we do? Why do they let me come and speak and all this sort of stuff? Why do they let Alex Jones and all these people speak about all of this stuff that we speak about? Why do they allow it all to be exposed the way they do? If you look at, there's a book written by Blavatsky years ago called The Externalization of the Hierarchy. The externalization of the hierarchy is the need for all of the corruption, all of the pedophilia, all of the everything to become completely apparent to everybody. They want everybody to know what's going on. And the gamble is that we will do nothing about it. We'll just see it and we'll go, oh wow, that's terrible. We'll continue to pay our taxes. And we will never step into who and what we are, ever. You know, that is the thing, because when we know how corrupt the world is, and we continue to use these scrying mirrors, we continue to hand all of our power over to this AI system, knowing full well what is coming, then all the karma's gone from them. It's now us. We know what's going on. And that is it. We become willing, participants in all of the corruption, in all of the pedophilia, in everything that's going on, because we continue to just support the system. And it doesn't really matter, you know, it's always going to be this way, but it's what you do about it, it's what your stand is. You know, what if the most important thing about living this life is not even staying by rules or whatever, it's how you die, what you're prepared to stand in. You know, because what if this is just a test for what really happens after that? Because that's the real event. What if this is where you come to grow your soul and you're given every opportunity to fuck up as much as you want? And we do. We do. We never step into that power because we could change the world in a day if we simply abided by our moral compass and saw what was going on. We're allowing our children to be taught that they don't even know what gender they are at 5 years old when they're too young to even know what gender means. I know you've got to choose between you this and you that. You can teach a little boy who wants to be a little girl. It's make-believe. Give him better coloured toys and he's going to want to be a little girl because a little girl's got better coloured toys.
So we call it prophecy rock. And it depicts emergence of Hopi from the third world. So we went through three worlds. This is the fourth one. And it is standing at the edge. We are standing at the edge of the fourth world, caused by the fact that we are now all traveling, not all, but the predominant population of races have embraced a materialistic path that has no heart. It's science and technology. And we are abandoning the spiritual path, which is the path of a person, of a farmer that we met, our ancestors met when they came from the third to the fourth world. His name was Ma-Sao. You know, he is the guardian of the land, caretaker of Mother Earth. And on that prophecy rock, the material path ends abruptly. The spiritual path just keeps going. At the beginning of the fourth world, there's a picture of Masa. And he is also standing at the end, basically meaning I am the first and I am the last. See? And he's still holding on to his corner. See? So there's hope. On Masao's path, there's also 3 circles. 2 are complete. First, the third one is halfway complete. They represent World War I, II, and the present one that we're now engaged in. So Masao's path is now being disrupted by warfare that's going on. And now by global warming, you know, that we, mankind, are creating. But in my belief, and I go back to water again, I believe the path of science, technology can still be intertwined with the mystical path, the spiritual path, mythical path. I think they can be intertwined as they were intertwined from the beginning when science and mythology was intertwined. Then they separated. Now I think through water is the bridge that will bring us back together again. And I see a lot of hope in that because we went through various stages of science. And now we have already going into another paradigm called quantum mechanics, quantum physics. That is what Hopi always taught. We are part of the hydraulic cycle. We are intertwined with nature. We are not separated. We are connected to every living thing, not just here on the planet, earthly planet, but down the bottom of the oceans, the cosmos, the universe. And we're connected to the continents and the islands through water, through the ocean. And then the sixth direction is the upper world, the cosmos, cosmos, sea, the home of the cloud people. And that's where you go when your physical body dies here on earth. Then the liquid inside your body evaporates. And it ascends to the cloud people. Okay? And there we rest, and we come back as rain, as snow, bringing water to nature, all types of animals and insects and living things. We replenish the lakes, the aquifers. We're on our journey back home to the sea. When we reach the sea, we then come back as rain, as clouds. And we keep repeating that cloud cycle. It never ends. It's eternal because water is one element that's indestructible. It cannot be destroyed. It is a living spirit. It is our connection to the Creator, the Great Spirit. And so we are part of the hydraulic cycle, unlike Western science that says we're separated. And Hopi say, no, we are a very important part of that cycle. We are told to put our hearts, our minds together, and then pray for rain. And our prayers will vibrate, and the cloud people will hear it. And they'll come in gladness to bring water to our fields. So we do it through prayer. I've been doing this for thousands of years. We believe water reacts to our energy, to our emotions, to our prayers. That's a fundamental Hopi belief. That water is sacred, it is spiritual, it is powerful. And we've been surviving like this as a civilization for a long, long time. There's got to be a paradigm shift based on what we learned from Dr. Moro and other scientists that are now exploring this whole mystery of water, So I think I'm hopeful. I'm one of those people that said, I think there's hope because we have these abilities, this power gifted to us by the Creator. And we need to use that, but use it in a right way. See, in a right way to sustain life, to bring harmony back to earth, to bring holiness back to earth, which is, I believe, the mission of mankind. But we're not using it that way. We're letting science and technology take control of our lives. We worship technology and science. The Creator we don't need the Creator anymore or the Spirit anymore, And that to me is where our society is still heading. And if we don't do something about it, together, as one race, we've got to bring our hearts and minds together. And our intent of sending out our energies. You know, the intent would be to bring harmony, love back to earth. That should be the intent.
Mushroom society, a societal hierarchy based on honesty and goodwill that allows the most to prosper. Put ethical leaders on top, and most human beings get to rise to the top as possible. Right? Only makes sense. If we're going to have this social credit score and digital currency, and it's dictated on some sort of political correctness or moral scale, it should be the correct moral scale. Absolute bottom, chomos, rapists, fraud artists, usurers. They can do art and try to find their soul, get access to the books. Most of the meek have a decent heart. All those people with a decent heart deserve a chance to advance, to ascend. To be part of a productive hive, not one sectioned off and used as a game by the fat queen. Whether you follow science all the way down to its logical end, or religion, history, art, it all leads to the same house, the end of the road. And the logical way to get there is to the right-hand path. Conquer the shadow, conquer fear. Conquer ourselves. Those who hoard power only do so out of fear. It's just a game. We can change it. A society that rewards narcissism, even through inaction and compliance, is a society that is doomed to either fail or end up in slavery, especially one that has all the technological possibilities that we are facing. On the other hand, a society that rewards compassion will end up with the most possible good, effective, moral, upstanding human beings as possible. You're either fighting or you're helping them. Regardless of what you want to believe or what you want to think of me, there really is two sides. I'm allowed to do whatever I want and manipulate people. Hell, even hump a baby if I feel like it. or common fucking sense. That's the side I'm on. It's all I respect. It's truth, love, and compassion. If you don't, get the fuck out of the way. No rape, no usury, no murder without trial.